Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this box. It measures just a tad under 3 inches by 3 inches by 3 inches, and inside it holds a bath bomb. I saw this recently and I thought it's such a great Christmas gift idea, but it doesn't come in a box, so I thought, great, buy one of those, make my own box, and sorted. This one I've used Broadway bound for the designer series paper. The box has been made with granite grey cardstock, and the lining at there is basic black cardstock. This is another one that I've made, and the box has been made with petal pink cardstock with the black there, and then it's got Share What You Love designer series paper, but they've both got the bow on the front there, and they've both got the same sentiment, and I'm going to carry that bit through, but I'm changing my colour scheme and I'm changing the designer series paper. So I'm going to show you first of all the card pieces that you're going to be needing. So if I can get myself organised, you have to bear with me, this is take 2. I got myself so confused when I was doing the scoring, as you can see I've already done this bit here. I thought I would be confusing you, that you probably have switched off by now, so I started it all over again. So what you need is, this is Sahara sand, and it measures 9 1/8 inches by 12 inches, which is 23.2 by 30.5 centimetres. And then you need a little piece for lining the inside of the box. Let me just show you that. You see a little bit down there. It's to stop the bath bomb rolling around. Depends on the size of the ones that you buy. So this is for the little liner piece, and this measures 3 3/4 inches by 7 inches, which is 9.5 by 17.9 centimetres. Then you need 5 pieces of Tranquil Tide, which measure 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, which is 7 by 7 centimetres. And then designer series paper is Joyous Noel, which has that gorgeous copper embossing foil on it, rather. Absolutely gorgeous. Obviously I've adhered these on just to save a little bit of time. And these measure 2 5/8 inches by 2 5/8 inches, which is 6.7 by 6.7 centimetres. And then you need a scrap of Tranquil Tide to do the bow and the sentiment. Now on that one I've used the black, which is the little liner under there, which is what I'm going to do with this one. But on this one I've used the same colour that I made the actual box. Okay, and if you do it this way, you'll get a scrap, you'll see where, that you can actually use for the flower, so you won't need so much. But that's only if you're doing your bow and your sentiment the same colour as you made your actual box, which I'm not doing at the moment, on this one rather. So to start off with, I'm going to be doing some scoring, and I will talk you through what I've done here, because I've only done one side of it at the moment. And this is my latest favourite tool that you'll be able to buy from the new Christmas catalogue when it goes live on the 5th of September. I've got my scoring tool in that end, and it's got a thicker one there. We get another tool that goes with it, which one end is a piercing tool and the other end of it is a little spatula, and this end it's a little thing to pick things up if you've got little gems. It's like a little bit of putty there. It's absolutely superb, I love it. Right, now first bit of scoring. If you have your largest piece of cardstock with a horizontal side across there, so that's a 12 inches, and then you need to score it in inches first, it's 2 7/8 inches by 5 3/4 inches by 8 5/8 inches and 11.5 inches, so you have just a little ½ inch left over there. In centimetres, that is 7.3 centimetres, 14.6 centimetres, 21.9 centimetres and 29.2 centimetres. All the measurements will be in the box below the video. Now turn your cardstock clockwise. That's right, clockwise. And score at inches first and then metric. Always say English first. 2 7/8 first and 5 3/4 and 8 5/8, which again will leave you a little ½ inch down the side. So in centimetres, that is 7.3 centimetres, 14.6 centimetres, 21.9 centimetres. Okay, so that's that bit. In fact, while we're here, shall we do this one as well? Old habits die hard, and even though I've got a new scoring tool, I'm still going over my paper with wax paper. Hopefully I'll stop doing it soon. Right, so on this one, again, in inches first, you want to score at ½ inch, 3 1/4 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 6 1/2 inches, and again that leaves you ½ inch there. Then if you turn that whichever way you like and score ½ inch, oh sorry, I didn't give you centimetres, did I? Let's go back. That was 1.3 centimetres, 8.3 centimetres, 9.6 centimetres and 16.6 centimetres. Okay, so turn it and score at ½ inch, and then turn it 180 degrees and do ½ inch again, which is 1.3 centimetres. Okay, so that's all the scoring that needs to be done. So let's see, get our boxes made first, I think. So with your ½ inch strip up there and the other ½ inch strip down this side, this is where we're going to start cutting. Now because these are quite long cuts, I'm going to use my bigger scissors. I'm not very happy using big scissors, but I find the small ones are a bit too small for here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut that very thin strip off altogether. And we are going to cut along the score on the edge of that score line on this side, and it's going to be a nice straight line. Right, so you're going up to the first score line, up to there, and then we're going to cut across there, but at a slight mitre. Okay, so that one's gone up there. Now we're going to cut up these, and what we're going to do on each of them is we are going to start slightly away from the score line, both sides, and do a very, very slight mitre right up to the corner there. We'll do that on all three of them. Okay, so start just slightly away from the score line and go up at a very slight angle up to the corner, and then do the same over this side. I'll put my paper, my cardstock, on the grid paper so that you can see what I've done. Okay, so make sure that's straight across there. So you can see that's a bit of a bigger mitre, but that one is, make sure that's straight. That one's a very, very slight one. That one's a better one. But it's not going to hurt. This is the base of the box. So again, start a little way away from the score line and go up to that corner where they cross. And then again, this side, very slight mitre. And get them to meet. If they don't meet, just cut them off. Don't tear them because you might tear too much. Now again, slightly away from the score line, up to the top corner where they meet, or at least like the crossroads. And then again on this side, slight mitre to make it to meet up where you've cut before. Or not. And if it's, oops, that one came off all right. Now I'm going to cut a very, very slight mitre off of this side as well. This just helps to get the base of the box nice and tidy. There we go. That's a lovely thin one. Look at that. Oops. Okay. Now we are going to let me just refer to my right, this end we are not going to do anything to it, okay? Leave that as it is. Okay, so we're going to be working near this one where we've got the 1/2 inch down here, but we need to turn it over. So what we are going to do first of all, we need to mark 1 inch above that score line on this one and on this one, because that's going to tell us where we need to cut down to. So what I'm going to do is, can you see right down the bottom? Yes, you can. Now I'm going to line this up on the bottom of my grid paper. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now I know 4 of these squares are 1 inch. Okay, so it's just coming down below that line. This doesn't have to be precisely 1 inch, as long as it's more or less, and you'll see why. So as I say, 4 squares is 1 inch, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm putting my ruler there and making sure it lines up with the same line over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not quite straight. There we go. And with the pencil, so I'm going to do the first one, which is the one by that 1/2 inch strip. I'm going to miss the one in the middle, and I'm going to do that one as well. Okay, so I've done these 2 here. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we are going to cut off this 1/2 inch and that little square there. Okay, the whole lot's going to come off. So if you do a tiny, tiny little mitre on that little bit there, that tells you how far you've got to go. Okay, so a nice straight line up to where you've cut. There we go. And then we are going to cut all the way along that line. Again, nice straight line. Up to that score line. And then we are going to cut off on that pencil line that we drew. Okay, so that's rubbish, don't need that. Now we're going to do exactly the same to this one here where we've got the pencil line. So again, we're going to draw up a nice straight line, cut up at a nice straight line as far as the score line, and we're going to do the same on the opposite side. And we are going to cut off along that pencil line again. See, this bit, if yours is a bit over an inch or a bit less of an inch, this one here, it doesn't matter. And now we are going to cut all of this one off. Okay, you might find it easier just to fold those two down out of the way. And you might also want to put this in your trimmer to cut. There we go. Now this is the piece I said, if you're doing your flowers in the same colour as the box, that's a good scrap, that fits the flower beautifully. Right, so what else do we need to do? I like to round my corners, those two, and those two, and I use our triple punch, I think it's called triple punch, this one here. So first of all, these two pieces are easy to do, so just pop those in there and make sure that both sides line up, one against that little ridge there. Let me show you one, it's got a line with my paper piercer. Okay, so one side's got to line up there and the other one's got to line up there. If they both line up fully, then you will get a beautiful curve, and you just punch down in the centre here, you don't need to come down on the edge. There we go, look, beautiful. I turn that around and do the opposite side. Now these are the easy ones to do. Okay, so the next one's a bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to suggest we do is we do our folding and we score our fold marks with our bone folder. There we go. And as always, when you fold over, just make sure that you are going straight. So there's that one. And this one. And then the little flap. So that's all the fold. No, it isn't. We've got one more here to do. There we go. Right, now we need to do these, and you can't do it if you've got another piece of paper in the way. In fact, I haven't cut that very straight. Just going to give that one a little mitre. That one looks alright. But if yours look absolutely spot on straight, you may want to just give them a tiny little mitre there. Mine was so straight, it was absolutely amazing, which isn't helpful when you try and put these together. Right, so this is my corner punch again. Now I have to fold this one out of the way, and that's got to go in like that, but I find that it's better if the side that isn't being folded up out of the way is towards the top, so the side that's getting punched is actually the side that's on the base of the punch. Just make sure that you hold that down to get it to go in, and then you make sure that that side's down by that edge and that one's down by that edge. Okay, so beautifully rounded. Now this one, fold it over again so that you've got nothing interfering with this bit, and this has got to go on the base of the punch. Again, make sure that lines up nicely and that lines up nicely. Then hold it in place while you're punching, but don't leave your finger there. Now we move up to this one, and again we want this on the base so that the folded bit is on top. Pop that in. Make sure that's nice and straight and that's nice and straight. Hold it there. That's it. And then the last one, fold that over. It's still in the way, so you need to fold that down. And this is the side that's got to go on here because this is the side that's being cut. Now this is your biggest challenge. It will slide in there, but it does need a bit more effort to get it in there. And do make sure that that is straight and that is straight. Okay. You're still only punching through one thickness. There we go, beautiful. That's how you get your curved edges. Right, let's get rid of this debris. Now I don't know if you've ever picked one of these bath bombs up, but they are quite heavy. So, which is part of the reason for having the support on the inside, as well as to stop smaller ones rolling about. But I'm also going to use red sticky strip here. You will see that when I do the bit for the inside of the box, I use tear and tape. So what I'm going to do is, this is obviously the, my flap for the box, so where that comes in, that's going into the front. So, hold on, let me just trying to, right. So that's how the box is going to go. Okay, so this flap here at the bottom is the one that I want to go in last. So that's the one I'm going to put my red sticky strip on. And I'm also going to put red sticky strip on this flap. Okay, so this is the outside of my box, and that's where I'm putting the red sticky strip, and I'm going close to the score line but not right up to it. So just snip that off. You could use Tombow on this bit. Tombow would be strong enough to hold it. Right, so take that piece off and put it in your little glass jar that I've shown you before, because it prefers to stick to glass rather than your fingers. So if you fold that up and then bring this one over and just make sure that it does line up nice and straight. There we go. Okay. Now, if you close your box there, that will help to keep your box in a good square shape. Now, that's my red sticky strip, so that's going to be the last one that goes down. But I will just take the red strip off first of all. There we go. So, do the two sides first. Now, making sure that you've got your box sitting firmly on your grid paper. And where's Tombow? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a square close to the edge but not right on the edge, because I don't want this leaking inside my box. and then bring that one over, square, that one, square, and yeah, that's the last one. I was going to do the other side as well, but I don't need that. Now it doesn't matter if that sticky goes on top of the Tombow. Once the Tombow has dried, the red sticky strip will take over. Now if I turn this over and open the box and then use my bone folder to push that down. Now this bone folder that I'm using isn't a Stampin' Up one, but it's a what they call a Teflon bone folder, and the beauty of this is you can do this on the inside of your box and it doesn't leave marks, but it is very expensive. If I could only afford one, I would certainly go for the Stampin' Up one because that is just so comfortable. But Christmas is coming up. If you want something special, tell somebody you'd like one of those. I'll try and put the link in the box below. I got mine from a little place in the Shetland Islands. Right, okay, so that box is done. I'm now going to do this one. And then I'm going to be using the Big Shot. So if I prepare this, and then I will prepare the bow and the sentiment, then I can do the Big Shot all at once. Okay, so this one first. I'll use my little scissors. If you work from the long side, the horizontal side, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 little lines that go up, and we are going to cut up on all of them. We're going to mitre all of them, but the bits that we're going to have straight are either side of the long sides and either side of the long side there, because that is going to be the side of your little platform thing. Okay, the tabs are actually going to be tucked in underneath and we're not going to be seeing those. So straight up by the edge of the side of the box and then mitre, and then just do that to all of them. So much easier working on small areas. I do struggle making big boxes like that with having to use big scissors, but I think it's like everything, you just get used to things. It's like my bone folder. I like the Stampin' Up one, that's the one I feel most comfortable with, and it was a bit of extravagance getting the other one. I think it was about £23. But it doesn't mark when you press down to push things down, so you know. As the L'Oreal advert says, you're worth it. Okay, so just cutting all of those. Now I'm not going to fold that until I've cut the hole out of it. So that will be the Big Shot. And now for this, I am going to be using Versamark and clear embossing powder. What I really wanted was, because I've got gold, copper foil there, I wanted copper embossing here, but I tried it, and I'll show you the experiments I've been making. I mean, you may disagree with me, you may think that this is ideal, but I thought that was too dark. I mean, it's lovely and shiny, really beautiful, but I just thought that was a bit on the dark side. Although looking at it now, I'm not so sure. Might change my mind, since how they're done. Then I tried doing it just with Versamark, no embossing. That comes out nice, because it is a Versamark is a watermark ink. But then I thought, well, do that and try embossing that, and that comes out really nice. And that's the one that I think that I was going to be using. I think I'm going to decide once I get there. But for the video, because I want to show you everything that I do, I know most of you don't like me jumping steps. So this is one stamp, this is another Versamark and my embossing buddy. First of all, let me show you the two stamp sets that I'm using. First of all, it's Feathers and Frost, and this is a sentiment. And Bring on the Presents, which has a set of dies to go with it, and this is the bow that I'm using. If you saw the video that I did showing the products that I did as a pre-order, you will already have seen those. Right, so Versamark onto the bow, and this one I am going to do as clear embossing. Obviously, whichever one I do, whichever one I decide to use, I'm going to finish up with something that's left over, but that's okay because I will use it for another project. I mean, green is going to be very easy. I would just file it away with my Tranquil Tide. I have a little folder of things that I make that I don't use. I keep in a, not a folder, it's a Ziploc bag. I keep them with all my scraps. I don't know why I gravitate to doing sentiments upside down. Fortunately, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you just use Versamark as a watermark ink, which is a great technique if you wanted to create your own designer series paper, but you just wanted to keep it tone on tone. Let's move that one out as well. Right, so this is my clear embossing powder. Okay, I just give that a tap like that. I've got some odd bits there that I don't need, so I just brush those off. And then I'll pop this away. Now, I'm going to use my heat tool on this. I'm going to let it warm up for a few seconds first. It will emboss this a lot quicker, so bear with me. There we go. So that's Big Shot and that's the Big Shot. I'll keep these near me so that I can decide which ones I want to use. And I'll just move these two out of the way. Just clear a space for my Big Shot to come up. In fact, I've just seen my 1/2 inch circle punch there. I'm going to use that before I forget. I don't like to have much of a finger bit here. I don't know whether you can actually see it there. It really is very small, but I do it small partly so that I don't have to punch onto that bit. It just looks square all round. I did do it on this one as well. Okay, it's got just a little bit there. Don't know if you can see it on that one. I think the petal pink showed up nicely. So all I do is I take a 1/2 inch circle punch. I estimate where halfway across is here, and I only put this on a tiny little bit. Let me just get myself halfway first, about there. Okay, so can you, Yes, you can see how much I'm doing there. It's an absolute tad. Okay, there you go. You can see how much I've punched out. It's just enough for putting your fingers in. You may decide that you don't like it as small as that. You know, it's enough like that. You probably want it bigger if you were doing one of these, if there's men type bath bombs, which I imagine there must be. Right, let's get my big shot up. So I have my magnetic platform here. And the dies that I'm using are, I kept them all up there safe. So the bow is from the All the Presents thin lit dies, which cuts all of these out, which the side bits are absolutely brilliant, they are. And the bow, you got 2 bits to that one. Okay, so that's that. And I'm also using, for the base in the box, I'm using one of the layering circle framelits, and this is number 6. And for the sentiment, I'm using the number 3 in the stitched shape squares. Okay, so let's do that one first. Did that a bit close to the edge, didn't I? Let's just hope I don't go too... In fact, let me turn this around so I can see what I'm actually doing. I think that's alright. I may not be able to do them both at the same time though. There is a right and wrong way with this, and the way I look at this to decide where both these tails are for the ribbon, one of them, this one here, it just comes round, okay, like a half circle type thingy, but this one's got a little mountain, if you like, in there. So that's the one you try and line up. And I have to say, I am really pleased at how close these, in fact, let's move that fraction. Right, how close this die cuts. It means you have to be very careful where you place it, but it doesn't leave you with masses of cardstock around all the outsides. Okay, so yeah, that's alright. I'll bring this up to show you how close the die actually cuts. Isn't it lovely? It does mean that you have to be very careful when you're placing your die on. And something else I found out that has just given me the answer to whether it worked or not. I was finding that this was holding on to this a bit rather tightly. In fact, I had this trouble with something I did on my last video, and it was really an effort to push it out. So what I did was, when I finished it last time, I just went over the 4 edges with my wax paper that I use on my cardstock, and I found, as you saw, that popped out really quite easily. So there's a little tip for you. Normally I say next time you use it with a piece of wax paper between, but if you do that, you don't need it. Right, okay, enough talking. So now the circle, and just place that. You'll find it almost touches all 4 sides, but you've just got to make sure that it doesn't. Yeah, it's just an absolute tad away. The thing is, this won't fit in absolutely tight. The only way I could have done that was if I was giving you measurements in 16th of inches, and I always try and avoid that. And the reason it doesn't really matter if it's not that precise is because we will be, this is going to be the base of our little platform, and that's going to be sellotaped to the bottom of the box anyway. So, I mean, there are other ways I could have tried it, like I could have just trimmed off a bit on side and side and then did all my scoring. And I would have had to have done the size that I knew that I need. It just got too confusing. Trust me, this works beautifully. Right, so that's all I need this one for. Right, let's tidy myself up again. Nice and straight. Yep, that's good. Right, okay, now I'm going to fold on all my score lines and I'm going to burnish them. Make sure when the tabs go over they are straight. Now this is the one that I will be using tear and tape on. And tear and tape will hold this beautifully. If you're a customer of mine, or at least you've shopped with me in the last 12 months, you should have received your new Christmas catalogue, which goes live on the 5th of September. If you haven't received one yet, or if you haven't shopped with me before and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, if you email me your details, I'll be more than happy to pop one in the post for you. Email me at jambi@jambicards.com. Right, I think that's about it. So, where am I going to put the tear and tape? I think it's on these three sides. Yep. And then that one as well. So it's the three outside ones, not the one in the middle. Okay, so just make sure that's down nicely. So what I will do, oh, that one wasn't folded. I'm going to put Tombow on those four, close that, then that, because this will be sticky, put that one there, but I think I left that one till last, just because it is just a tad little bit tight. No, let's do Tombow first. Or should we take those off? No, let's take those off first. We just have to remember that we've taken them. That's good. These are just going in the same glass jar that I put the red backing bits on. Right, so let's do the 4 little tabs. Go down. Again, don't do too much so that it starts oozing all over your box. Okay, so you just have to be careful now because you've got sticky on these. So first of all, these. Now this is why it's important to make sure you've cut your lines straight, because when you bring this round, it's that much easier to line it up so that it's straight. And then that one. And just give it a few seconds for Tombow to work its magic. And then this one. This is where it's easy to get yourself caught on the tear and tape. And then this one. Now what you want to do is adhere these down, but only press it down about halfway to start with, just so that that attaches. As you can see, this is still undone, and the reason I leave that undone is so that I can slide that one in and push that down, and then that can come down, and then move that one over. Oh, I've got a hair. So I can move that one, bring that inside, push that down across there, push that down. That's not wanting to go down. Let's give it a bit of encouragement. There we go. Okay, so we've got our nice little platform now. Now you have a choice. You can either put the glue on here or you can put the glue on there, which is a little bit tricky, but I prefer to do it down there because once you've got glue on there, you've just got to be that much more careful as you go down, whereas this is actually going down where it needs to go down. So let me just I won't go right to the edges. I'm going to leave about ½ an inch all the way round. And then I'll do a little bit in the centre. You can see what I've done there, can't you? Okay, so now I can just put my fingers either side of that and then push it down, and you will see you've got a little bit of room all around there. So what I'm going to do now is with this one, I am just going to push that down so it sticks firmly. Okay, so I'm going to bring this right up to where you can see, and you will see what I mean about the little gap all the way round. It's not a massive gap, about 1/16 of an inch, but because it's glued on the bottom, that's not going anywhere. Right, so let's close that up. Now we just need to pop these on, and again, Tombow. Right. Just remember which is your top of your box, because you don't want to be sticking one of these on the bottom unless you've made 6 of them, but you could do. The thing is, if you make things like this for craft shows, you need to leave yourself a space to put the Stampin' Up! Copyright sign on, because that's what their angel policy is. As long as you've done that, then you can sell things that you've made with their products. I don't really think that the design on this design series paper is necessarily Christmas. You know, I mean, it's got sprigs of leaves. I see it as Christmas because I know it's come in with a set of Christmas DSP. Oops. But I'm sure if I saw it on its own, I don't think I would think to myself, oh, that's Christmas. What do you think? I'm not saying it's not suitable for Christmas. I think it's great. But I just don't think it's just Christmas. Which is great, because if you get any left over after Christmas, it doesn't matter, it can still be used for other events. Just make sure that I don't do too much talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. I can see I've got a big splodge of glue on my grid paper, which if I'm not careful is going to do some serious damage. There we go, so that's all of that. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Right, now, I'm sure I brought some tissue with me, kitchen roll. Yes, I did. Let's get rid of that. I made a mess, but at least it's not going to cause damage on my work. Right, now I've got to decide which ones I want to use. Now, do I want that, or do I want that? Do I want that, or do I want that? I know you're trying to help me. Certainly don't want that one. But I hope I'm going to make the right decision here. I think what I'm going to be going with is oh my goodness. I think I'm favouring this one. Yep, I'm going to go for this one. Right. Since I've got two, do I like one better than the other? Yeah, I thought that one was a little bit on the thick side. Right, now the first thing I do is I wrap my piece of ribbon around here. And this is the ribbon that I'm going to be using for this. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's our mini ruffled ribbon. Is that what we're calling it? Yes, mini ruffled ribbon. And I have found with this one, if you leave this cellophane on there and find out where the end is, if you pull it out, that keep the ribbon like that. I'm now going to try that on all of my ribbons, because ribbons in the drawer are one of the biggest curses. They just get all over the place, untidy, really, really frustrating. Ribbon scissors. So I'm just taking enough that will go all the way around. Now on both of these boxes, I have put the ribbon, put the bow, I've stuck it onto the box, both of them. But then that's because the ribbon I've put them on is quite thin. But on this one, I'm going to pop the bow up on dimensionals. Now that's the front of my box. Okay, what I do is, with my silicone mat and my snail, I just put a little bit of snail on the end. Oh no, I know what we have to do first. With a pencil and a ruler, as you know, I struggle with straight, and I got this one sussed. Now, with your ruler, if you measure up, and you're measuring up from the fold, okay, when you get around to the side and you've got these little bits here where you've stuck the box flaps down, don't count those. Always go for that curved bit there. If you do the curved bit all the way round, you're going to be straight, and you need to measure up 1 5/8. Okay, and then just draw a little line like that, and do that on all 4 sides. Alright, on the fold, not on the where you can see the flaps. And draw your pencil mark where you can actually see it, so that it'll be easy to go round afterwards and erase it. Right, there we go, that's that one. So what I'm going to do now is come back, do this. I'm going to put some snail on the back, and I'm going to adhere this just below the pencil mark, and I am doing it sufficiently below so that I have enough room to go back and erase that. That's not the right side. This is the front. Start off at the front because you're going to use your bow to cover up these ends, and then you just follow this round so that you're just under that pencil mark. Give it a little bit of a pull so it's not going to go sliding down, but not too much. Okay, now I'm going to put some more snail on the back of that ribbon and adhere it down there. So that is beautifully straight, and it was absolutely pain-free. Now let's just take these pencil marks off. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now this I'm going to put over the top like that, and I'm going to use dimensionals. Do I want big ones? I think so. I think I'll have 2 big ones top and 2 big ones bottom. May put 2 little ones as well. Let's see how they're going to be going on. That should make it so that nothing touches the ribbon. Okay. There we go. Right, this is the front. Just tilt this so that I can make sure I'm going straight. There we go. In fact, I think, shall I put that on dimensional? See how I've done that one as well? I think so. On the others I have done this as gluing them straight down. Now, still at the front of my box. There we go. Let's get rid of these things. Right. So why aren't you sticking? Oh, maybe because I left the cover on it. Better. Right, and 1 bath bomb. There we go. Okay. there we go. There's that. Oh, I haven't done any gems. I did experiment because I have been using these large ones. I used a Sharpie pen to colour that, but I think it's too bright. I think I will just go for silver, or at least clear. Yeah, that's fine. And I will... Did I bring any of the other little ones over? I think so. These are normal ones. Nope. Where's my box? Here we go. I just want normal regular rhinestones for the front. There we go. And I'm just going to do these randomly. There we go. So there we have today's project. Hope you like it and hope you give it a try. It is a long process, but I haven't scrimped on any of the corners. I've made a really, well, I think I've made a really good project here. So as I say, I hope you like it and I really hope you give it a try. If you have any questions, please leave them in the box below the video, and in there I will put all the measurements, all the score lines and all the products that I've used. If you've enjoyed my video and you'd like to be notified each time I upload a new one, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays, please hit the subscribe button. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Finally, on my website, I am in the last, in fact when you see this, there'll be 2 days left of my buy one get one free sale, so do pop over there and have a look, see what's available. There's over 200 of products that you could choose from, retired products that you can choose from free. Lovely to pop over and visit. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.